Hey everyone, thanks for being here. This is a simulcast. What a fun, fancy word that is. The Secret Glow, every Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. in our private Facebook group. We have a beautiful session with our community, and every once in a while I like to bring it out to the larger community so everyone can participate and be a part of it and bring some new energy, some fresh blood, and see what we're doing and what we're up to and what we're diving into and exploring the depth of this moment, this life, this essence of who we are together in the exploration of self-realization and self-actualization. So thank you so much for being here. Just past 12 p.m. Eastern in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm at my last day here for a little while. Heading up north tomorrow, an extended road trip. Welcome, Anya from Denmark. Welcome, Phyllis. When you enter, you can say where you're from. We always love and appreciate that. This is episode 126. And I have some really exciting news. All these episodes, 126 episodes, my Facebook Live series, The Glow, which has spanned probably like a year and a half. I'm in the process of uploading or downloading, or I don't know if it's up or down, but in any case, transferring them to YouTube. I'm very excited about that. So all these videos of The Glow, 126 episodes. I think so far I have maybe 40 or so have all been transferred to YouTube. So the next week, all 126 episodes will be transferred to YouTube. So they'll be able to be watched on the YouTube channel as well as be able to be watched here. So excited about that. Welcome, Robin. How you liking the weather in Asheville, Robin? The winter, the January Asheville winter. It's nice and sunny today. Air is a little crisp. Yeah, it's good. There's a new place I just saw opened up driving by. If you go up, this is some inside information for those of you who are global, but this will be valuable to you at some point when you come through here. If you go up to Haywood and you go towards the downtown, I just saw a couple of these spots opening up. One's called Haywood Commons. Looks like a really cool spot to hang out, get a bite to eat. Haywood Commons. It just looks like it just opened. And there's so many new places popping up. There's so much energy in the city and town, and so much places popping up. Like every time I go down the street, it's like new places popping up, arising, new energy, new high vibrational spots. But Haywood Commons looks good. I'm gonna check that out soon. So let's start with a little meditation. Ground in together in this depth of presence together, and really open up the space to be clear, open channels for the magic and miracles, the insights, the inspirations, the new levels of perspective, new openings to awaken to a deeper sense of self. To move through us together as a unified resonant field. That's really all we're ever doing, and that's really all that's really important, and that's really all that's where the excitement, the passionate essence lies for me, is coming into a depth of presence that creates a unified resonant field that allows the universal creative intelligence to move through us in each moment. So it's almost like a channeling. However, I'm not channeling some alien or some, someone from another planet, or I don't change my voice, or I don't, change I don't contort my face in any sort of a way. It's just being open. It's just really emptying out all the knowledge, all the information, any attachment identification to anything, and just through being really present, really here, there's a clarity, not just in me, but in us collectively. And what wants to be moved through us collectively can move through. The intelligence of the moment. Intelligence of the moment is always here, is always present, and is always alive, is always vibrant, is always vital. So when we are present, we become vehicles, we become channels for this intelligence to move through us. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. So how do you do that? How do we do that? How does that happen? How do I get tapped in? How do I connect? How do I plug in? How do I become one with Source? How do I become one with God? How do I unify? The primary realization is that this intelligence, Source, God, this is all poetry, the divine, this essence is here and always here and never not here. That's the primary realization. Where is God? God is here. God is always here. God is never not here. Where is Source? Source is here. Source is never not here. Source is always here. Where is this universal creative intelligence? It's here and now. It's never not here and now. It's always here and now. So your attention may drift. Your attention may close down. There may be levels of resistance. There may be contraction. You may lose awareness of this essence, of this divinity. You may be trapped in false senses of identification and attachment. But this essence is always here, regardless. God is always here, regardless. This intelligence is always here, regardless. The divine source is always here, regardless. And all of these things that you think are keeping you from the source, from God, from the divine, are actually source, God, divine, because God is all there is. The source is all there is. The divinity is all there is. This intelligence is all there is. So it's like opening up the focus wider and wider and wider and wider. So you think that like God, the divine, is just this little thing or this little thing, and this, you have to like find it through all the muck, right? But then as the focus opens, there's this recognition and realization that all the stuff that you thought was muck, like that's God too. That's the divine too. That's source too. That's intelligence too. That's what's here. What's here is that divine essence. So it's another way of saying it is it's relaxing into this moment, relaxing into this moment, relaxing into this moment. This moment is where it's at. This moment is where it's at. This moment is all there is. It's never not been this moment. This moment is all there is. Everything that you want is here now. Everything that you want is here now. Where else would it be? So embracing what is, loving what is, all the different aspects of whatever can arise in this moment. Welcome, Roxana. Welcome, Fatima. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here, tuning in, tapping in. Thanks for being a part of this moment together. Thank you for sharing this moment together. Each person that joins live, it's like, the way I feel it is like there's like an intelligence that we're connecting with that expands us, exponentially more, the more that we come together and unify. Now, if we come together and we don't unify, then not only is it not useful, it can actually potentially be a distraction, right? You're welcome, Phyllis. So glad you're here. So we're tuning in and we feel a presence together. And when our attention is here, when we're present in this moment together, something is able to move through us. Something's able to move through us. There's been stories about this throughout history. The stories can often be misinterpreted. But there's stories in the Bible, there's stories in different religious contexts of people that were opened up as a group and felt this sense of unification, they're like on fire, for God together. And you lose sense of the small you. You don't have to necessarily lose total awareness of it, but it loses its importance. The small you loses its importance, and the big you becomes the focal point. The big you, which is the big me, which is the big we, which is the big it, transcends birth and death, transcends beginning and end, transcends duality, transcends yin and yang, transcends all that is and includes it. So when we open up to this essence of what we are together, there's this recognition, this realization of, oh, here's where it's at. Here's where it's at. Why was I looking somewhere else? Here's where it's at. And nothing actually needs to change. Nothing actually needs to change. The big you. That's actually really good. Yeah, the big you. We'll do something with that for sure. So it can include, physical pain. It can include emotional pain. It can include psychological pain. It can include psychological, physical, emotional pleasure. It can include whatever's here. It's the foundation that includes whatever texture of the moment is arising. So nothing actually needs to be different than it is. That's what's so amazing, because most of our human motivation is to make something different than it is to make this moment different than it is. Hello, family. Welcome, Mohammed. Airborne, like that. Muhammad Airborne Ali, flying up to the stars with us. Includes blockage. What else does it include? Come on, everybody, share it. What does it include? Whatever you say is what it includes. It includes all that is. It's all inclusive. All inclusive. Includes whatever is present in this moment. Includes whatever is here in this moment. And then that allows us to rest more deeply, more fully, more wholly, more completely in this moment right now. And then there's this recognition, this realization that the being is enough. The being is enough. Being here is so much more than enough. Being here together is overflowing abundance. or whatever made us think that we needed anything different. And then being fully in this moment together, being fully in this moment right now, being here in this moment. So let's just have a couple of minutes of meditation, as I said we would. Want to keep to my word, be accountable to my word. And I'll look through some of the comments here, and then we'll open it up for some further exploration, questions, comments. Maybe have a guest come on video today, and we'll go from there. So take a deep breath. Exhale. There's something so powerful about meditating with a group of people. Doesn't matter if they're in person or if they're in other parts of the world, but when we tune in together, there's something incredibly powerful as you're about to experience. So inhale again. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I mean, keep breathing. I'm not going to keep guiding you, but keep breathing. Deep inhale and exhale. And you're just going to relax into this moment. There's nothing that you need to do in this meditation. There's no doing it right or doing it wrong. There's no should or shouldn'ts. There's no positive or negative. Just being with what is, allowing your thoughts to rise and fall, to appear and disappear. Be exactly as they are, allowing your emotional body to arise and fall, to appear and disappear, exactly as it is. Physical sensations to arise and fall, to appear and disappear, exactly as they are. Now noticing the space that's unchanging, the space that doesn't appear or disappear, the space that doesn't come or go, the space, the silence, the stillness, the spaciousness that's between and within all that arises and falls, appears and disappears. The essence of who and what we truly are. Resting in this space together. Paying attention to your breath. Slow, deep breaths at the bottom of the stomach. Just taking this time to let go of anything that's come before this moment, anything that will come after this moment. Just really being here, being present here together for these few minutes. Let's take some deep breaths together. Inhale. Exhale. 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 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just resting in this energy for a moment. When you're ready, you can open your eyes with fresh, innocent eyes as if you're seeing life for the first time. Take a few moments to look around the space in silence. Notice if things feel more alive, vibrant, colorful, present, here and now. Welcome to a deeper here and now together. You're welcome, Anya. I'm just reading some of the comments here as we sit in this beautiful essence of now together. Robin says, I'm visualizing a pig oozing around in the muck and totally loving it and accepting it, and it's giving him a great skin treatment and bath situation. That's a great metaphor. And she also said, the concept makes me feel so good, especially since I've been living a situation that everything in my small self hates. So would you like to share what that situation is, Robin? Or if anyone else has any questions or comments as well, this is a good time to delve in. Tracy was going to come on from Australia, but I don't see her here right now. I know she has to stay up very late to come on, so she may be in the dream world. My smile got bigger. We're really glad you're here, Roxana. Leaving my mom in a rest home. So what kind of story comes up for you around that, Robin? Story about yourself. Mm. Spend 24 hours there. I can feel the depression of a lot of people there. You know, it's interesting to go into different environments. I've actually kind of been seeking them out of late sometimes. To go into a space that's like totally completely different than what I normally would be called to. You know, so generally it'd be called like a really high vibration, really open-hearted, really loving space. People that have a pretty deep sense of self-realization, self-actualization, and it's interesting to intentionally go into something, to explore something that's not that, intentionally or unintentionally, whatever the case may be. It's kind of debatable what's intentional or unintentional, really, but to whether it seems consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or unintentionally, going into a space that's different than that. And so I do that on purpose sometimes, probably just to see what's out there, just to kind of get a sense of what's happening in the human dimension, you know, that I'm not necessarily seeing or not necessarily exposed to regularly. But also, I would like us to explore if this essence is still present. Whatever the situation we put ourselves, whatever the dynamic we put ourselves in, if this essence is still present, this unchanging essence is still present. If it's an unchanging essence, it must still be present, because otherwise it would be a changing essence, right? So is it still here? Is it still present? Where is it? I was actually on the street I just mentioned earlier, Haywood Street, today, which is sort of a street filled with a lot of energy. And a gentleman came up to me and had an incredible story. He went on and on about how he hurt his finger, and he lost his hand, and the nub on his hand got cut, and he has 9 stitches on his head, and he got hit by cars 7 times on his bicycle, and he's trying to find, he needs $15 to stay at some room, and he has, this whole thing, and just went on and on and on. I mean, it was amazing when we attach and identify ourselves a certain way, how we can find endless amounts of stories to verify who and what we are, So I just stopped and listened to him, and I think he was sort of surprised by that, and then he just kept going. He said, "Oh, I can," till he got to a certain point. Then he started repeating the same stories about how he got the stitches and get hit by the bike, 7 times, the car 7 times on his bicycle, and how hard his life has been. Something about his hip broke, and something else, knee, and so I'm listening to the story, and what I'm attuning to is, I'm like, this person is not the story they're telling me about themselves. And that's sort of what I find myself doing fairly often, is they're telling me this story about themselves, but I'm not really it's almost like I can hear the story, so I wouldn't say I'm not paying attention to it, but I'm paying attention to something other. My primary attention is on something other than the story. So I'm tuning into this essence where we're the same. I'm tuning into this essence where we're the same. So I'm not trying to change the story. I'm not telling you the story is wrong. I'm not telling him anything, but I'm tuning into this space where essence is the same. And I felt like that was the greatest thing that I could do for him. That was the most essential thing that I could do. That was the greatest value I could give to him. So I gave him a couple dollars, but I think the presence beyond believing the story was more valuable than the money, right? Who knows, of course we never know what people will do with money. We never know, What's funny is that stories are, by their very definition, not true. Story means something that's not true. Let me tell you a story, right? It doesn't mean it's not valuable. It just means it's not factual, right? Even to say true story, this was a true story. Well, what does that mean? A true story. There's no such thing as a true story. There's a something that this is the most deepest, authentic way I can relate my perspective of what I saw, of what I encountered, of what I felt, and that could be called a true story. But if I'm standing over here and someone else is standing over there, we're going to see two different perspectives. Whose story is true? Right? If 7 different people watch a car crash from 7 different perspectives, they have 7 different angles on it. Whose story is true? Right? So was he telling me a true story? I don't know if he's telling me a true story. I would say no, he's not telling me a true story. I'm not saying that he was intentionally lying. I have no idea. But what is true is the essence beyond the story, is the feeling that I felt in him beyond the story, and the truth of who and what we are beyond the story. And to tune into that, there's the opportunity for someone else to remember and realize who they truly are beyond the story. Welcome, Martin. Where do you live, Fatima? Yes, victimization, Robin. That's a lot of people are getting caught up in that right now, and encouraging other friends of theirs to get caught up in it right now. You feel like you're abandoning your mother. I think it's really valuable to tune in to be honest with what we're feeling beyond the story. So there's a story there of like, I feel like I'm abandoning my mother. Is that true? Is that not true? Right? The story. So there's no one can say if it's true or it's not true. It doesn't really matter. But what is true is what's being felt. The feeling that's there. And when we can be authentic in that and be genuine in that and really be in a space of embracing that without resistance, there's movement. Energy can move. Energy can transform. There's a healing that can happen. Right? But when we resist the feeling, and unfortunately a lot of spiritual circles encourage this, to kind of resist the feeling or try to change the feeling or try to get rid of the feeling or try to make the feeling something more that a more spiritual, awakened person would feel. I've been in through all that myself, right? But there's a point when you open up to this everything is God consciousness, everything is of the essence, everything is divine, there's no need to change the feeling. The feeling is what is, right? Why would you resist what is? Why would you make an enemy with what is? The feeling is what is. The feeling is what's here. Can we be in a state of love and embrace with what is, with what's here, with what's now, and allowing the emotional intelligence to guide us and direct us, to inform us. So being present with the emotional body instead of trying to shut it down, repress it, suppress it, which really all that's doing is shutting down the vitality, the energy, the vibrancy of us, of who we are. But when we embrace energy, it allows it to flow, to move, to be in a creative energy. It's really good to drink water. Water is it's like a shower for your insides. So purifying, cleansing. So one of the most essential as far as like practical things you can do to feel good, drinking lots of water. And water that's clean. Filtered. I think that the truth is, when we're really honest and vulnerable, Robin, is sometimes we don't know what's best. And I think it's okay just to acknowledge that sometimes. Sometimes we don't know what's best. We don't know what the best choice to make is. We want to be tuned into what is the best. What is best for the whole? What is best for the good of the whole? But how can we really fathom with our minds, understand with our minds what that is? Right? So there's sort of a trusting the process, trusting the evolution of the movement, that even if we don't know sometimes what's best, we're listening, we're attuning, we're being present, and it will find its course, it will find its way. And I think that if our heart's in the right place, so to speak, then that's what's most important, even if we don't always, with our mind, can't always cognize what's the best, what's right, what's the direction. So just trusting that as a temporary resting point on a larger journey, instead of pretending or making a sort of impulsive, rash decision to try to prove you're right, or try to prove that you know better, and those things don't generally help, right? But vulnerability, humility, acknowledging what's true, what's real, alive inside ourselves, listening, tuning in for what's good for the good of the whole. Caregiver burnout, that's a good term. Caregiver burnout. Well, you are a part of the whole. You are a part of the whole. So when I say what is for the good of the whole, you're a part of it. It's like if I say, what's the best thing for my family? Well, I'm a part of my family. So I can't exclude myself from my family. If I do something that's like horrific for me, it doesn't help my family at all. Right? It's really important for my family that I'm healthy, whole, optimal, vital, fulfilled, connected, aligned. And if I'm not in that energy, it's not good for my family. Right? So we get in the sense that we have to choose one or the other, but we want to find the space where the two are one. And if we can't always find it in this exact immediate moment, it's okay. But just it's kind of like you send out the signal. You send out the signal to the universe. Like whenever we put a question out to the universe, the answer will come back. It's like filtrating through the system, and the right answer comes back to us. We just sometimes need to be more patient than other times. I'm presuming that was directed at me, Phyllis. Thank you so much. Robin's mom said that when she's gone, it's like one of her legs and arms are gone. That's pretty intense. Where is she, by the way? Is she still in California? Or is she in North Carolina? If anybody wants to come on as a guest, really, oh, okay, so she's local. Well, that's good. She's local, you can visit her, and she has assistants too. That seems to make sense to me. I can imagine how there would be some emotion around that for her, but I can see how that would make sense as well. I was going to say if anyone wants to come on as a guest for a few minutes, write something and I can bring you on for a few minutes. Welcome, Jane. I think you should come on, Jane. I haven't talked to you in a while. Hog the convo. At first I thought it said hug the convo. You hug the convo and hog the convo, but really you just hug the convo. I figured you were going to say that. Why don't you come on for a few minutes, Robin?
You don't really want to see me again, do you?
I do want to.
Okay. Well, I hope
So are
everybody's
you?
getting something out of this besides just
Oh
me.
yeah. I always say, that like whatever our situation is, the even though the particulars may be different, the themes are universal.
Yeah.
So I think everyone can relate in their own way to
I'll go over here.
what you're pointing at.
Yeah, it's, maybe I think maybe it's something a lot of, in general, more women face than men because usually, not always, but a lot of times the guys don't have to deal with the moms. If there is a sister, they're usually the ones that do it. And we're kind of, things are changing, but I know I was raised more to be a nurturer, to take care of people, and I embrace that a lot. I actually love it. I loved being a mom and having little babies and just making them feel good, so a huge part of me is a nurturer. But that's why this is has been such a difficult decision for me because it's almost like I'm a Gemini. I'm not, though. I'm a Cancer. But it's like I have these two sides where one of me just wants to take care of her and put her in a sunny room and feed her to strawberries all day, but it's really, really, really hard, because she would take all day and all night. I mean, it would be my entire life because she's so slow now. I mean, almost can't walk. And also she has cancer. And, it's hard for me too, because I love her. It's hard for me because I'm so sensitive and I feel any kind of pain or any kind of feeling that she's got, I've got. It's very hard for me to like put up that wall. So anyway, that's the problem, but I know it's for my benefit in some way, and I know this is just one of those things that I have to face and go through. And I do feel better already, with this decision because she really does need to find God again. She was such a spiritual person. We used to be such incredible soulmates. We just like fly together on conversations, but she just sort of she lost God somewhere along the way, and she's trying to get him back. But, I really do feel that if I get out of the way, maybe that'll happen.
Get out of the way. Yeah. It's like it's always, everything always comes down to the same essence, which is accepting what is. It
Yeah.
always comes down to that. Whatever we start with, it always ends up at that point of like accepting what is, and the sense of freedom that comes from that inner peace and love,
Maybe though, as a
and empowerment.
creative person, I know that I can bend everything to be how I want it to be. So it's like what is one thing, but then right on the heels of that, like I'm like, well, I could change that. I could change everything. I could make it
Hmm.
completely different. I could make it completely different for my mom, but I just don't want to. That's the trouble. It's like I hear people say, "Oh, I just couldn't take care of my mom at the end," and they seem so okay with that. And I'm like, "No, that's not true. No, I could take her. I could. I really could. But and the hurtful answer is that I don't want to because, I have a real passion for art and I've been neglecting it the last 3 years anyway. And I seriously want to do what I want to do. And I would get resentful and it wouldn't be good, for us. So this is, I'm seeing the light now. And it's just that the last couple of days were hard because it was the major transition. She came to a new state and she's in a place she's never been before with total strangers all around her. And it's very noisy. And she has to get around by herself. I mean, they will help her, but so it's just like you say, it is what it is, and I just have to accept it. And it's not horrible. I mean, it's not what other people in other countries have to deal with. So that's what helps me a lot. Thinking, I mean, I had her out all day yesterday, and when we came back to her room, before it had seemed dark and dingy and scary, but then I thought, no, it's warm, it's clean, it's a place for her, And it's just all about what your head wants to tell you. It could be hell or it could be heaven. Mostly it looks like hell to me, but I guess it could be heaven.
Well, see how it looks as time passes. I mean, it feels like my sense is like having support. So if you have one person that's taking care of somebody 24 hours, as opposed to having five people or six
Mm-hmm.
people or however many people,
Yeah.
especially people that have some medical expertise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. And another good thing is they have this big walk-in bathtub thing. When she saw that, her eyes just lit up because she's been wanting one of those, and she can walk in and the bath fills up, and so she'll get that, and the food is much better there than where she was before. And there's a man that we talked to last night, and it was nice. I'm getting much more assertive in my old age, and she knew that she sort of liked this man, just by looking at him. He was very sweet to her, and he was going out of the dining room, and I just said, hey, I can't remember his name, Glenn. I said, hey, Glenn, can you sit down and tell us about yourself? And his friend was going out with him, and his friend goes, oh my God, like, oh, I'll see you later. But he sat down and he told us about his life. And that really
Hmm.
helped me because it was like a beautiful connection. Like we were just sitting there listening about his parents that were coal miners, and he used to be a minister. So he's a very
Hmm.
spiritual man, which my mom will relate to a lot. And he was so kind. He said, I'm going to look out for your mom. And here's my phone number. And if you have any questions or problems, he says, you tell me and we'll get them fixed. So I mean, that is a huge, beautiful thing, that somebody like that is there.
And he lives there?
He lives there. And I think that's the thing that really gets me is like, there's like maybe 7 or 8 men there, and not all of them, but almost all of them seem completely ambulatory to me. And they seem mentally okay. And I think, my God, these men are probably only 10 years older than me at the most. And here they are in a nursing home. The lady did tell me that it used to be more of a independent living area place, but it definitely feels like a nursing home now because so many of the people have walkers or wheelchairs. But I'm thinking, why would somebody be in a place like that? It's $5,000 to be there a month. If you got
But
5,000,
wait a second. Your mom already had her first date there.
I know she did.
It's very
So
exciting.
yeah, my mom is really cute looking. I mean, when she was younger, she was a model, she was for a famous photographer. He was going to make her a movie star, and then she met my dad, and lucky for me,
Mm-hmm.
she married him. But so it's
Uh-huh.
interesting for me to watch that. Like people really pay attention to how her physical looks, and my mom is kind of like, I don't want to say conceited, but she's always been a little snobby, or I think she has that
Vain?
vein. Yeah. Vain. But she knows that she has that, and in a way it's like, if you're born like that, it's like you can't help it. And a lot of people, just like you, Brian, I mean, you are good looking. Annie's gorgeous, both of you. But it's like people tend to like, whoa, make a god out of you. And it's like really hard to not want to suck that in. I mean, it's flattering, but they make such a big deal of how pretty she is. And I kind of worry about like some of the other women there. And she's, of course she's older and she's not really gorgeous like a movies would say, but everywhere I take her, people are like, oh, your mom is so gorgeous. Oh my God, your mom is gorgeous. And
Well, maybe there'll be some romance arising for her here
I,
with this with
she
these
worries,
gentlemen.
she worries about that too. I mean, I think she does like men's company more than women. Her biggest fear is that someone will glom on to her. She's not afraid to make
Glom on.
yeah, she's not afraid. She doesn't really, she's been kind of a loner her whole life, and she's not